Who am I? I'm Leo Glowacki. I'm a fifth year double majoring in data analytics and music here. I am the PDA education director, so I'll be doing most, but not all, of the workshops this semester. I'm also a certified RStudio instructor, and as you can see, I'm clearly a very experienced professional ostrich rider. So what are we going to do today? Well, the idea here is that we're going to look at top 50 tracks on Spotify from 2019. So as you'll probably know, Spotify is a pretty cool music streaming platform. And they do some really cool data-driven things like making Discover weekly playlists with all the music you never knew you wanted to listen to, but you did, and daily mixes and things like that. And they have this really cool data behind their system that also analyzes all the songs in their system and categorizes their genre and also list other properties about the songs, which we'll talk about in a minute. And so today we're going to look at this data and we're going to try and see what we can find out about these popular songs just by looking at it. So we're going to use Tableau as our tool of choice today for this. But why? First of all, because it's a really cool software, but it's basically a way to just by drag and drop, create interactive visualizations. And so you don't have to know how to program or anything like that because it's all clicking and a little bit of typing sometimes. It's pretty popular in the business intelligence industry, but it's certainly not limited to those industries. It's generally popular, and I've had a lot of friends who have used Tableau in their summer internships and things like that. And another reason why Tableau is great is it's really easy to share and publish interactive dashboards so people can see. For example, the Ohio State COVID-19 dashboard is published and used with Tableau. Not going to look at that right now, but there's some other really great examples. Like here's one actually with some Spotify data, and you can see that in this dashboard they've even embedded a player in here, and you see all of this stuff that can happen when I hover over or even when I click, things change. And so the fact that we can so easily create such interactive visualizations and dashboards makes Tableau extremely powerful. And there's also a gallery. If you ever need any Tableau inspiration or reasons to use Tableau, because you can just go through here and just see a bunch of awesome dashboards, like a Pokemon Go dashboard. All right, but enough of that. Let's just go ahead and get started. So I've gone ahead and put together a workbook. Jen just sent the link from the chat. Workbook with a couple visualizations already done, just to give us a quick start here. And you should be able to just download it from the link. This is what it should look like when you download it. And when, so yeah, it could take just a second to download. George, in answer to your question about the student product key, if you go to tableau.com/academic/students, you should be able to click on Tableau for free, and it will ask you to do a little quick registration. They'll email you a product key. And there is a 30-day free trial as well for everybody. But if that doesn't work, or if you've already used it, the Tableau for students will work. And Hunter, in response to your question about the newer version of Tableau, it's not a huge deal, but if when you open, like for instance, an older version, like this is 2020.1, whereas we're using 2023. You'll be able to see a little update to 2020.3 in the bottom. And I recommend doing that because there are a couple of things that may or may not work in any previous versions, depending on how old your version is. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and move on, but again, keep putting any questions or anything in the chat. So I just have this pre-packaged workbook. It comes with the data and a couple sheets that I already made in it. And so if we look at the data here, we see that we have the 50 songs. We have F1, which is just a unique ID. We have track name, artist name, the genre that Spotify has created, and other cool things about the track. And what those cool things are is these characteristics. So we have the BPM, the speed, energy, the higher the value, the more energetic it is, how danceable it is, the loudness, liveness, valence, which is the higher the value, the more positive mood, acoustics, speechiness, and popularity. So going back to our Tableau workbook here. We're just going to go through, and just in case you've never made a visualization in Tableau before, we'll go ahead and do them together. So to create a new visualization, you will have to create a new sheet. And so you can click this little button here, and you'll create a new sheet. And for this, I think I'd like to do, we'll sort of look at the number of tracks by each artist in this data set, because I'm kind of curious for the artist here, how many artists have, or how many tracks each artist has in here, if there are any duplicate artists in the tracks, or artists with more than one track in the top 50 for 2019. So, so one thing I'll do here is we're going to look at artist name, and you'll see I just went and dragged and dropped over, and all the artist names start to pop up. But then I want to do a count. And this is just an automatically generated variable from Tableau. And if we, you can also sort right here. So if you click on sort, it'll sort it. And you can see here that Ed Sheeran has the most songs out of anyone. He's got 4 songs here. And then the Chainsmokers have 2, and etc. It's a little, doesn't tell us a lot though, so I'd also like to add a color. And I'm going to drag their parent genre here to color, and we'll automatically get it by genre. Yeah, and Maxwell, how to sort again. So there's 2 buttons up here for sorting. You can click on this to sort by ascending, or this one to sort descending. And while we're at it, this button here, you can use this to swap the rows and columns, which is a nice little feature there. Well, glad I can answer your question. And so we're gonna also name this sheet. And to name it, you can just double click there and name it. Or you can also right click and click rename to name the sheet. Name it number of tracks or something like that. Cool. And one thing that I didn't mention earlier was that our genre here, there's the genre that has, but there's also a grouping of the genre, which has a few less genres than all of the subgenres here. And if you click on the little down arrow and hit edit group, you can expand and see all of the genres that are in each parent genre. And this is something that I just did earlier so that we wouldn't have to spend any time setting that up. Hopefully that went okay, but if not, that's totally fine. We're gonna go through and do it real quick. And we're gonna add a little bit to it while we're at it as well. Okay, so number of tracks by genre. So we want genre, and we want a count here. And we get our number of tracks by genre. And then we can also sort like that by clicking this button up here for sorting. And then we're also gonna add color for parent genre, like we did here for number of tracks by each artist. And one cool thing also that you can do in Tableau is if we take parent genre and slide it in right before genre, it'll group the parent genre and the subgenres within it. And then if we sort again, yeah. Yeah. So now it's sorting within each category here, like that. And you'll also, cool. All right. So, however, you know, when I look at dance pop, I think it would be really nice to see all of the artists in Dance Pop. And if I wanted to, I could kind of do it if I go over to number of tracks by each artist and look at All Pop, which is blue. I can click on it to highlight all of the pop ones, but I still have to go through and figure out which ones are dance pop and whose artist is what. And it's just not great. But there's a really cool feature in Tableau known as visualization and tooltip, or viz and tooltip. And what that is, it allows you to display another filtered sheet or chart or visualization within this hover over tooltip that occurs. So the way to do that is to click tooltip and then click in the box and then go to new line. And then if you do insert, and you'll see there's a lot of different things that you can insert for this tooltip formatting. And one of them is sheets. And so if we insert a sheet and we insert number of tracks by each artist, we see that it pastes in this code here for that. If we click OK, then when we hover over again, we see that this visualization now pops up. And this is just a filtered visualization of this, but over here. So we see for dance pop, we have these artists here and these here. So big room, we have just one artist, and that's Martin Garrix with one song. Or for Latin, there's 4 artists there, and you can see how many songs each they have too. So that's a cool little easy trick. That's a good question, Jared. He says, what classifies as big room? And I Googled that earlier. Honestly, I'm still not totally sure. But yeah, there's some really interesting genre names on Spotify. I think my favorite one is Bro Step, but feel free to throw out your favorite genre name here in the chat if you wish. So now that we've got 2 visualizations here as well, we have multiple visualizations here. Let's go ahead and combine them, because it'd be really nice if we could see these more than just one at a time. So to do that, we're going to create a dashboard. To create a dashboard, there's another icon right next to new worksheet. We'll just click and create new dashboard. And so we're greeted with a completely blank slate here. First thing that I'm going to do is I just want to show the name of this dashboard. So I'm going to go to dashboard up here at the top, and I'm going to do show title. And it just adds the title. And like previously, so rename, you can double click here at the bottom, or you can right click and hit rename. And I'm just going to say what's in the top 50 for now. And over here, we see that we have all of our previously created sheets. And we can also adjust the size of this canvas here. I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to select generic desktop. But really, you can do whatever size you want. And this really only becomes super important when you think about sharing and where you want to present your visualizations. So I'm just going to throw in visualization here. So I just threw in the top one, tracks by link. So you'll see creating a dashboard works similarly to creating a sheet. It's a lot of drag and drop. So I just dragged over. And we have this same thing here, basically. This tracks by link, our sheet, but now it's in our dashboard. Great, right? But let's add another sheet. Let's do number of tracks by genre. And you'll see I clicked and then I'm dragging over and Tableau sort of highlights based on where I'm hovering, sort of trying to guess as to how I might want this position. I think I'm just going to throw it on top here for now. And you see we have our number of tracks by genre chart here, right above our tracks by length chart. And they're both colored by the same parent genre. That's pretty cool, I guess. But you know, we can take this further and really just add to our dashboard here and start to build it out. And now that we're going to start to throw a bunch of stuff in here, like these other charts that I've created earlier, let's talk about containers and dashboard layouts, basically. So you'll see there's another tab up here called Layout. And there's a bunch of different sort of very picky layout settings that you can screw with in here. But what I want to highlight on is this item hierarchy. And so we have our title, and then it says there's all these tiles. And it shows that there's a horizontal tile here. So we can click on each sort of little grouping thing. So we see the whole thing. It's just this big tile thing, as it says, and then horizontal, where things will stack next to each other. So this whole thing is one pane of the horizontal, and then this little smaller pane is of the horizontal thing. And if I wanted this pane to be to have the same width as this larger pane, I could right click and I could click distribute contents evenly, and it would do that. For this, it's not so useful, so I'm just gonna Control Z, get out of that. But it could become super useful later. So especially if you start dragging things around and adjusting things like this. So now I've kind of made this a little bit screwy. This is way too big. This is way too tiny. So if I find, let's see, it's the container that it's in. Oh yeah, okay, you see we're here. And they're not in a container, so I'd like to add a vertical container and have it take up the whole space actually. So I'm going to remove both of these from the dashboard real quick while I do this. Go back to my layout. So I got most of the stuff out. And I'm just going to throw in a big vertical container. And then I'm going to throw those back in here. Tracks by length and number of tracks by genre up here. And we'll see now that they're both in this vertical container. So if I wanted to make that kind of screwy here, I can definitely play with this height thing. But if I want them to be even, I can just right click on vertical and hit click distribute evenly, and it's going to fix all of that for me nice like that. And it's super helpful when you're creating a bunch of different visualizations and really playing with the layout here. And so we have all of these other charts that we haven't really talked about yet, that just look at the different aspects, a couple different aspects of each track. And so we have this, we're just doing F1 by acousticness, and F1 is just the ID. So really one could do, we don't really need the F1, and we could do some sort of other circle view chart. But for the sake of spreading out these dots, I've just gone ahead and plotted the F1 onto this axis. And now I kind of like to throw all of them up in top here above number of tracks by genre and track by length. So what I want to do actually is I'm going to throw in a horizontal container up here above tracks in genre and tracks by length. But I don't want it to be so big that it overpowers genre. Okay, that's probably about good, I think. And so now I've created this horizontal space where I can just throw in the rest of these. So now I've got an acousticness that takes up the whole thing, but I'm just going to go ahead and start throwing these in next to each other in this upper container. Okay, and now we see that I have all of these tracks in here, and they're all colored by the same genres again. Now, cool. So another really cool thing about Tableau dashboards is actions. And so what actions do in Tableau is really make our dashboards interactive. So for instance, like, you see I'm clicking on these dots and I can see, it doesn't do a lot. It shows this little tooltip here, and we can do a couple things, but it's really the most interactive thing about our dashboard so far is this little visualization in the tooltip. So but it would be really nice though if we could do some sort of like highlighting or selection, filtering, whatever, if we like clicked on the genre. So for instance, like if I click on dance pop, it would be nice if all the dance pop songs were highlighted up here and down here. And we can do that with actions. So to create an action, we'll click on dashboard up at the top, and then you'll see there should be a little thing for actions. So click on that. And it says actions that you create interactive relationships between data, dashboard objects, and other worksheets in the web. So there's a lot of things that you can get done with actions, and we'll just go over a couple of basic but really cool things that you can do. So we're going to click add an action, and let's say for now, let's just try highlighting. So yeah, we'll just say test highlight or highlight tracks by genre, something like that. And we'll say, so the source sheets are the sheets in the dashboard where if you do an action to them, it will do something to the target sheets. So let's say we want to run our action on select, just the default, and we'll say that if you, yeah, I mean, let's just go on, let's just go with the defaults by now, but basically we're going to say for any of the sheets in the dashboard, if you click on anything in them, it will change things in the target sheets, which are also going to be in the sheets in the dashboards. And the target highlighting we'll just leave as the default as all fields. And so we'll click OK. And so we have this action here. Click OK again. And so now you see, like if I click dance pop, it's highlighted, highlights it all over in the rest of the sheets. Or if I click big room, R1 big room track by Martin Garrix is highlighted everywhere. And since we said that anything can be a source for the action, we can try clicking in other sheets too. So if I click on takeaway here, it's going to highlight the EDM genre, and it's also going to highlight itself in each of these boxes. Additionally, because we did this parent genre grouping here, we can also click on the parent genres. And so if we wanted to look at all hip hop, we can do that. Just like that. So let's do another exercise. So I invite you to take 2 minutes to play around with filtering and seeing how that works. And then we'll regroup into another example of that. Okay, cool. So hopefully you found some cool stuff with that, but we'll go through it together. So I'm going to remove the other action that we had. So you'll see it doesn't do any more fun things when we click around. So I'm going to go back to dashboard, actions, add an action, and do filter. And I'm just going to run the defaults here. Tableau usually has pretty good defaults. Let's see. Let's see. Well, really what we should want is we really want to just filter, let's say, source sheets. We don't really want to filter our genre or linked sheets, but it'd be nice to just filter out these. So we'll take these two off of targets so that we're only, or yeah, this one off of targets so that we're only changing the top row. That'll be better. Oh, I clicked on linear, it should be select. Yep. Yeah, so now we see here, if I wanted to look at comma, the Latin track here, it'll filter to just all of these at the top, this one. Or if you're going to look at big room or pop or all pop, we do it and it works like that here. And since we only selected these to be the target sheet, it only changes these. All right, so that brings the end of all of the more formal content. But if anyone has any questions or anything else that they want to go through, I'm absolutely open for that. You can put them in the chat or go ahead and take yourself off mute at this point. But I'll just give a little time for to ask questions if they want.
We want to find the practice data sets. Is there any place we can do
that? Sorry, Timothy, it was just a little bit hard to hear you. What was that?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me better now?
A little bit.
Oh, sorry. My off.
Oh, much better.
If we want to find practice data sets, where's the best place to find those?
Yeah, great question. There's lots of places to find them. My favorite is Kaggle, which is just, and I got the data set for today from Kaggle. But if you go to Kaggle, you can also click on data and you'll see that they have all of these data sets here. And it's very searchable. So you'll see I've definitely searched things in here before. And yeah.
And are the CSVs, or do they have like, files for specifically Tableau?
Okay, yeah, good question. So most of them on Kaggle are CSVs, which are actually great for Tableau. So what I did was since I pre-made this workbook so that we'd all have several visualizations to start off with and that we could get more into dashboarding for this workshop. But actually, just to show you real quick, I'm just going to create a new Tableau file, totally blank. It's going to boot up here and just a little laggy. Okay, here we go. So now I have a completely blank slate Tableau. And if you click at the bottom left, so data source, you'll see this connect panel. And to open up a CSV file, you'll go to a file and you'll hit text file. And so here is the top 50 CSV file. And you can click open, and then you'll get your data into Tableau like this. Yeah, so I skipped that step today with the pre-built worksheet, but normally that's how you would start off, and that's how I did start off the workbook from today.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Let's see. Any other questions? Okay, yeah. Patrick asks, what's the best way to export visualizations? Um, well, I would say there are two ways that are really good. And it kind of depends about if your visualization is interactive or not. If it's not interactive and a picture, just is the same, let's see what you can do is you can right click on it and do copy and image, and then hit copy. And if you go in anywhere where you could paste an image, it'll paste this. You can also do worksheet, export, and then image, and you can save it. Save it in my downloads folder real quick, and then my downloads folder, I now have this saved as this PNG here. You'll see it also says a couple of things about the chart for better interpretation. But if you have an interactive dashboard, what you'll want to do is, let's see, it's going to be, yeah. So there's the server tab, and you can publish the workbook or publish it on Tableau Public. And I'm pretty sure I'm not logged into my Tableau Public right now. I can't remember my password. But you'll be able to publish it onto the web like the examples from earlier if you do that. So,
hey Leo, might I hop in here real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we picked out the 5 winners of the $25 gift card. I messaged you if you were still on here, but I'm gonna announce them so people know it's legit. We're doing it. We have Yaoting Huang and Bandy, Allison Brocolo, Maxwell Rincon, and Timothy Baldwin. If I messed up your name, I'm sorry. I can't read. I'm gonna email you guys, and we'll send over an electronic gift card. So be on the lookout for that. I have all of your dot numbers down from the attendance. So if for some reason you don't get an email from me or whatnot, let me know somehow, either in the Slack or just come at someone on Ebor and they'll come at me. But I have them written down here, so I won't forget. I'm going to do it right now. So if I message you on here, you know who you are. You should get that tonight, hopefully.
Cool. Those are winner chicken dinners. Yeah, and there's lots of visualizations on Tableau Public, and that's how you publish to that. So, yeah. There was a question, from George about Excel files. And yeah, Enan's answer is correct as that. Also in their connections, options are Excel files. So, yep. We're just about out of time here, but if there's any more questions, I'm going to stay on after we wrap up. So there's also our, for further questions and learning, there is our BDAA Slack Tableau learning community, which if you join our Slack, you'll see that there's a channel exclusively for Tableau, and definitely post anything you want about Tableau in there. And there's also a feedback survey for tonight. BAA is a club by students for students. So I would absolutely appreciate any feedback on how to make these workshops better for you guys. And here's my contact info if you want to reach out and ask any more questions. Here's some further resources. I highly recommend these Tableau tutorial videos. They'll take you through everything. We've announced our winners. So yeah, that's really all. So Thank you guys. Really appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. And I hope that this workshop was beneficial for everybody. And if there's anything else, any other questions or anything, feel free to stick around. I'll be here.